The average 6-year-old can look at more women in 15 minutes than the richest king could 500 years ago in his entire lifetime. And this is not something that we should just let slip by and that we shouldn't take into account, because this says a lot about society. My generation of men are the weakest than they've ever been. Testosterone is low. They have no masculine traits. Their physique as well as their mental strength is weak. They have no ambition. They have no goals. All they know is to scroll like. They're all just robots sitting in their chair, hunched over, just overstimulating themselves. Looking at this, looking at this girl, looking at this 13-year-old girl shaking her ass, and just castrating themselves by just jacking off and letting free their sex drive, giving it up, and feeling depressed, and then doing that every single day over and over again. And ironically, my generation is one of the first generations that grew up with these advanced technologies, with iPhones, with tablets, with YouTube. And this is not a coincidence. Because when a man is handed everything by their parents and their life is easy, they don't have any responsibilities, they don't work out, they don't take care of themselves, they can just look at all these women without having to work for it, they become weak, physically as well as mentally. Of course, 500 years ago, men had to work physically as well as mentally if they wanted to achieve things. Nowadays, men can just go through life without putting in any work. So of course they'll become weaker. Their bodies, they'll have less muscle. They'll look like it's less masculine, and less men are actually masculine. They have good masculine traits. They're actually high value men. Of course, more and more men will become weaker as technology make our life a lot easier. And I say this because I demand you to stop overindulging in all this technology, looking at all these women, just focusing on pleasure, just focusing on instant gratification, because that is the reason why most men feel depressed. That is the reason why you're unhappy with yourself, because you're exactly where you deserve to be. Your past decisions determine where you are right now. And your decisions today determine where you will be tomorrow. Having an easy and comfortable life paired with so much technology has made more and more weak men. More men nowadays, whenever they feel horny, they'll just go on Pornhub, they'll go on this porn site, they go on TikTok, literally fucking Instagram, and just overindulge in Instagram, which is literally just softcore porn, and just give up his sex drive without having to work for it. If a man has no need to improve himself, he has no need to become stronger, more masculine, more mentally tougher, he'll just stay weak. And more men are created like this. I look at men nowadays and I'm like, one day when these little boys create a family, they'll just give birth, they'll create even weaker men than they themselves are. And as every generation passes, more and more men will become weaker and weaker. And this world will become worse because weaker men give in to their emotions a lot more. They work less, they provide less, they're less happy, and they just stay the same. They just focus on their instant gratification, and they don't realize that it is simply because of their choices. Don't allow people out there to influence men like us. Because I'm talking to you, someone that resonates with this message and you actually want to change your life. Men like us, to be the same as them. Do not be the same as them. Those men that just continue overindulging in their instant gratification, playing video games, eating junk food, watching porn every single day, and not doing anything about it. Help me to spread this message, because we might be able to ignore it right now, but in the future this will haunt us. This will come back to us. It might be so easy to ignore this right now, but trust me when I say this, that your choices today will reflect and they will determine the life they have tomorrow. Because like I said, as technology advances, more and more overstimulating shit comes out. Fucking pocket pussies, porn VR, all this shit. Because when a man 500 years ago, when a man wanted something, when he wanted love and intimacy from a woman, because a man craves love and intimacy, whenever he craved it, he had to work for it. He had to improve his looks, he actually had to work hard, he had to make more money, and this was good because this made him stronger, it made him more masculine, it provided more value to this world. However, nowadays, men can just go around watching porn, watching this woman naked, watching this other woman naked, watching this little girl naked. And this just makes him weak because he doesn't have to work for it. And the worst part about it is that whenever a man just jacks off, he loses all of his energy because you fool your mind into thinking that you've put in the hard work, that you have all these women, because your subconscious mind, that's what it thinks. It thinks that it's getting all of these women, so it's like, oh, boom. We've reached the highest point of male life, so we can rest now. But in reality, you haven't put in any hard work. Don't listen to them who like to cope, those weak men that like to cope and influence men like us, and tell us that it's okay to fap the 1 or 2 times a day because it reduces your chance of getting prostate cancer or whatever the fuck they want to say. Because they like to create a false reality, they like to sugarcoat it, they don't like to face the truth that they're weak because it is easier for them. And they know that they could get a much more rewarding life, however they choose to stay weak because it is easier to just go on Pornhub and get 1 or 2 minutes of pleasure. Because just imagine that you actually started to put in the work, you actually started to improve yourself to actually attract women. You didn't just wish to get these women, you actually put in the work, you built more muscle, you improved your looks, you started to dress better, you made more money, and then you started being happier, and you get married to that woman you like, she loves you, you cuddle with her, and you create a family, and your kid, he looks up to you. Most men, they'll just ignore this video. They'll continue taking the easy way out because it's easier. Because they prefer to just continue focusing on pleasure. In the future, they'll end up depressed. And more weak men will continue rising. However, that is your choice to make. Pick between those two and do it for your future self.